All right, welcome everyone for this week's edition of the weekly Walkoff podcast.
He's in a suit. Look at him.
I am joined by co-hosts Dillan, Ryman, and Dave Brigido to talk about all things playoffs this past weekend and even do the award ceremony for the Core 4 2023 season. Dave, Dylan, how was your Wednesday before Thanksgiving?
It was pretty good.
I'm still sick, so not good.
You sound a little bit better though, so it seems like it's on the upside. Oh, never mind, he's dead.
What?
Never mind, he is dead. All right, sorry, chat for that. All right, with that, we are expected to have joined by Jagger McDonald. He said he wanted to join for this podcast, but has not answered yet. So hopefully Jagger might hop in during the call. But with that, we will hop right in to the postseason bracket. Playoff bracket, as you guys all know on the socials, the championship team is none other than the Wiffleball Willies, captained by Dave Brigido. We'll quickly just go through the bracket, talk about who won each individual matchup, touch on it if what we see was focal points of that series, and then we'll talk about the championship as well. So first we'll move on. First we'll start with the top of the bracket. We have Aces versus Off Constantly. Aces took this series in a 2-0 fashion by scores of 11-0 in Game 1. And then in Game 2, they won in 14-3 fashion. The Aces came out hot. A 3-man lineup with myself, Doug, and Ziabro. We both looked good on the mound, so I was pretty impressed with how the Aces came out in this matchup. Dylan, obviously you were on the other side of this tilt. Coming in this matchup, you got the news that Mike Castellano wasn't going to make it due to his house basement being flooded. So with that kind of news coming into this uphill battle, what was your thought process coming into the first round?
If I'm being completely honest, I was trying not to concern myself with Mike's situation. Obviously, it's very unfortunate. I hope he got all that taken care of. But obviously, like you said, I knew it would be an uphill battle either way. So to lose in the fashion that we did, it sucks. Especially when you know exactly what the other team is going to do. I knew that you guys all day would be trying for doubles and triples and shit like that. So to allow that many doubles and that much runs in the first two games, it sucks, but live and learn. We'll be back next year.
So you made playoffs now.
We made playoffs. Yeah, I'm happy to have at least made playoffs.
No,
next year we're aiming for the second round of playoffs.
Yeah,
that's the goal now.
Building steps. Obviously, Dylan, you weren't a captain coming into the season, so the way you were able to turn that team around and made them a playoff contender after having JJ Neely on the roster, not wanting to show up for you guys, Rooney having very little availability, Ryan Hart obviously in and out with availability as well, turning that team into a playoff roster was kind of impressive on your part. So I amend you on that. Dave, anything you want to touch on in this series, Aces Off Constantly?
I'm sorry, I just lost connection, so I don't really know what was said in the last minute or two, but no, nothing really surprised me there. I know I did pick Off Constantly to win the series. I know I did. I like to make some, I like to pick a series and I like the underdog in some series, but I think at the end of the day, I knew that the Aces would take care of business pretty easily, and that's what happened. So,
yeah, thanks, Dave.
You're welcome, Dylan.
With that, we'll move on to the next series we had. It was going to be the Master Batters versus the Trash Pandas, and this one got over before it even started. We have the Pandas winning in a 2-0 fashion sweep. Pandas winning by a fashion of 9-0 in Game 1 and 7-0 in Game 2. So obviously very lopsided games. The Pandas were the better team on the day, having Dewar, both Strakas and Duffy showing up, hitting 1 through 4 for them, outmatched the offense of the master batters, who didn't seem to have the pitching on the other side of it. Dillan, to you, master batters, Pandas, anything you thought what should have went different, and how it did go for the Pandas and the batters?
Honestly, it's a little surprising having it that lopsided. I mean, Julian, he has a heavy bat. Gerald, he can hit when he needs to. And Biggs, he can put the ball where it needs to be too. So to have I think what 0 runs? They had no runs on the day. You said
correct. No runs across both games.
Yeah, so for them to put up nothing in both games, it's very surprising to me. Yeah, that's all I got on that.
I think this game falls on the fact of Gerald went with a full lineup in Game 1, obviously didn't get the result they wanted, and then he went back to the same lineup in Game 2 when he probably shouldn't have shortened his lineup and get Julian and himself some more ABs. Although Julian wasn't the greatest in the series, he did go 0 of 1 with 2 walks in Game 1, and then 0 of 3 with 3 strikeouts in Game 2. So not the series you normally see from Julian, who definitely had a regress year, especially being this number 1 overall draft pick in this past year's draft. Not the numbers you want to see from Julian, but Julian will have a bounce back year probably in 2024. He is always a consistent player. So I'm excited to see how Julian comes out. Hopefully this lights a fire under his ass and he comes out and plays well next year. Dave, anything you want to add on batters, Pandas in round 1?
Well, it's tough when you have no paint on your bat, so that changes things up a little. Look at that. It's a big difference. It's a big difference when you take the sticky substance out. Yeah, I was very surprised that they couldn't score 1 run. I mean, I took the Pandas in the series, but 1 run from the batters, like that's unheard of at all in the league. Like, you don't really see that often, and it happened 2 games in a row. That was definitely not a good series for the batters, but the Pandas, I think, deserve that series, so good for them. And hopefully next year we, as you said, Julian regressed a little bit, but I think he'll be back to his old self next year.
Yeah, for sure. With that, we'll move on to the final matchup of round 1. We have the Gargoyles versus the Backyard Bullies. This game also finished in a 2-1 fashion for the Bullies. So not the plan the Bullies went in with. Obviously, you think you're facing Kotsko, a lineup of Kotsko, Stu, and Winters. You feel like you're going to have a little bit of opportunity to get out of there with 2 wins, and they did, but just not in the fashion I'm assuming they wanted. They did go down 1-0 in the series, losing 4-3 in Game 1 to the Gargoyles. In Game 2, we have the Backyard Bullies taking an 11-2 win over the Gargoyles. And then finally, in Game 3, Backyard Bullies finishing up the series in dominant fashion with a 9-0 win over the Gargoyles in Game 3 to clinch and move on to the second round of the postseason. Dillan, over to you. Were you surprised the Gargoyles were able to steal a game? And if so, do you think they're a little disappointed that they let the series slip away from them, obviously going up 1-0 in the series?
I don't think it's surprising to me that the Gargoyles took a game. They have some pretty good bats between Winter. Kotsko comes up big from time to time, and I forget who else was there on Saturday. Stu. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. Stu. Obviously, he's BWBL back-to-back champion, so he can hit the ball and put it where it needs. Yeah, don't shake your head, Dave. I saw
he's
that.
Not.
Well, what do you mean he's
not?
not?
Win this year.
BWBL.
Yeah, we didn't win this year.
Not this year. The last 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. He's been a championship in I think a much more competitive league. So it's not surprising to me that they came up with at least one win. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
What the hell was I want to say? Bullies, excuse me. Bullies, they just have a much more rounded lineup than the Gargoyles, so it's not really surprising to me that they took the series.
And then Dave, over to you. Gargoyles winning in 2-1. Or I'm sorry, losing in 2-1 fashion to the Bullies. Anything you want to add before we move into the Final Four?
This league, anybody could win in any day, but I was a little surprised with the roster they had, the Gargoyles, that is, that they had on Saturday, and that they were able to win a game with that, too. Like, that was pretty impressive. But it's really no surprise that the Bullies settled down after that game one, and then they came back to win 2-1. So that was expected, I think. But it was definitely good for the Gargoyles to win the first game. They should hang their heads high after that. So good for them, but they didn't win, so it happens.
And then we finally move on to the Final Four of the 2023 season. I'm assuming that if you were a preseason candidate for the Final Four, this is probably the 4 teams you thought were going to be in the Final Four, being Aces, Willies, Bullies, Pandas, being the Final Four in that order. Aces versus Willies, definitely a different matchup compared to the Bullies and the Pandas, which we'll touch on in just a sec. The Willies, obviously winning the 1 seed of the regular season, got that first round bye, awaiting the winner of the Aces and off constantly, and they did end up facing the Aces, and the Willies came out hot. Willies took it right to the Aces. Tensions were high, animosity was high. It was kind of an electric atmosphere. Early for the Willies. Obviously, they didn't play in the first round, so for them to build up that momentum and bring that energy to the field on day 2 on Sunday was pretty electric. Willies take game 1, 15-5, 10 running the Aces in 2 innings. Dave, obviously, this is your team. You were very happy with how you guys came out. What happened in that first game that you thought, after the game 1, you had to assume that the playoffs were leaning in your favor?
Well, I yelled at my team before the game, and I was very frustrated. I said, listen, we were here last year and we blew it, so we can't do that again. And not only did we not play Saturday, we didn't play the last week before that because the Rats canceled on us. So now we're like super cold going into it, and we haven't picked up a bat in a while. So I think we were a little worried about that, but obviously there's no reason to worry because we scored 15 runs in the first game, so that was definitely good. We even got the fans going. We were yelling, screaming, and we wanted a good atmosphere. And we got JR and Dewar going a little bit, so that was fun to see. But that was what we wanted to bring to the table. And
then finally, the Willies rode the momentum into game 2. Aces do or die game season. If they is on the line, if they lose, they go home. They lose in a fashion of 9-6. To the Willies. Holmes getting the win on the mound. Ziabro getting the loss on the mound. Dillan, over to you. Obviously, Willies taking the series 2-0 fashion. Were you surprised by this and how this outcome came?
I wouldn't say I'm surprised. I knew the Willies are a force to be reckoned. A force to be reckoned with. I just didn't think that you guys, the Aces, would get hit around so badly. It's just a little surprising to me that they won by the fashion that they did. That's all I got to say on it.
Yeah, we definitely came out cold, so I wasn't very happy with it. Being the away team in game 1, I believe we went 1, 2, 3 in order, so the momentum wasn't very good in that fashion. You being the first team batting and not putting up any runs on a team that you know is going to hit the ball definitely doesn't do good on your spirits. And we just came out slow. There's nothing we could really put into words. Willies were the better team. Obviously, they went on to win the whole tournament. But I'm excited with how the Aces came out. Obviously, we had guys no-show, no guys communicate with anything with how our roster turned out. So we got past the first round, something we didn't do in 2022. So I'm happy with that. 2023, we built on that. I wouldn't say we took the Willies to a close series, but again, I'm happy with how the roster turned out in the second round matchup. And the Aces will be back. Looking forward to 2024. We'll see how we revamp our roster and decide what we can do to bring more wins in the postseason. With that, we'll move on to the final semifinal before the championship. We have the Bullies versus the Pandas. This is the one that Dewar had circled on his calendar, but it did not turn in the favor of Dewar's way. Bullies winning 8-5 fashion in Game 1. Pandas were able to bounce back in Game 2 with a 4-0 finish, and then the Bullies just blew them out in Game 3 in 2 innings, 11-1 finish. Didn't have Dewar for that Game 3. They decided to use Dewar both in Game 1 and 2, and didn't have a quality arm in the Game 3 slot. So I was pretty impressed with how the Bullies' offense came out in that Game 3, putting up 11 on Straka, so I was pretty happy with... I wasn't pretty happy. I was pretty impressed with how the offense came out and dominated in Game 3, knowing that Dewar was behind them and they didn't have to face Dewar anymore. Dillan, 2-1 finish by the Bullies, moving on to the championship. What is your take on that series?
I wasn't present for this series, so I'm not exactly sure what happened. It sounds like did Duffy have to leave too? I think he left early, right?
Nope, Duffy was still there. He just didn't pitch.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you want to win games, especially playoff games. You need your entire roster there, your eligible roster, that is. So for them to at least win, I think Dewar got his win against the Bullies. I'm sure he's happy about that. So yeah, hopefully the Pandas can figure it out and get back next year.
Shino, I just want you to know that Jimmy Canesso did not play in the 2023 season. That was not indeed his stat line. He is a lying sack of shit. But thank you, Jimmy, for hopping on in. With that, we move on to the championship. Couldn't really picture it any better. 1 seed versus the 2 seed. Animosity along between Steve and Jagger, obviously dating back to last year when they played. So this was an exciting one to watch. I'm friends with both guys on both rosters, so I was pretty happy with how this final championship turned out, because it did go the distance in extra innings for a decider. You picture this stuff when you're sleeping, dreaming, any sporting event you ever played, bottom of the 5th or bottom of the 4th walk-off scenario, winning team on the championship, and Josh Glick was able to deliver. But let's hop in with Game 1. We have the Bullies jumping out to a 1-0 series lead, 9-7. Dave, after Game 1, what was your thought process with the roster? Obviously, going down 1-0 after both teams coming off big series in the semifinals, so it's pretty impressive to see you guys battle back. But losing Game 1, 9-7, what was your thought process after that one?
I was not happy with my team, mainly because they wanted the bat 4, and I was highly against that. And so we just kind of took a vote, and I was the only one who wanted the bat 3, so we batted 4, and we came up short offensively. I mean, we scored 7 runs, but I think we could have scored a lot more. So that kind of cost us, and I take blame for that, for not just batting 3. But I was not too happy with that, but we bounced back, so it's okay. I got over it very quickly. It was 9-7. Is that what you said?
It was 9-7, yes.
9-7. Okay, yeah, good. All right, that's all I have to say then.
With that, we move into Game 2. Willies were able to bounce back 9-6 fashion. The offense not the offense was dormant in Game 1, but they definitely exploded in Game 2, facing Teddy nonetheless. Teddy on the mound for the Backyard Bullies, that you kind of think that's going to be a low-scoring game, but the Willies were able to adjust. Holmza, McClay, Neely all batting 3. Holmza going 6 of 7. Robbie 2 of 6. Neely 3 of 6. Holmza having 2 home runs, so Holmza being dominant as always. Brett Kalady 4 of 4. Brett had a phenomenal postseason, so I was pretty impressed with how Brett came out and performed. 4 of 4 with 5 RBIs, adding a home run himself. So obviously with the Willies taking the Game 2 matchup, Dylan, anything you want to add Games 1 and Game 2 of the championship?
Yeah, as a captain myself, I'd say you have to go with your gut. If you feel like uh, your idea is best for the team, go with it. Don't listen to your teammates and how they feel about any certain situation. I don't care if
I have a
it's
smart team.
uh,
I have a smart team. I don't know.
evidently not smart enough if you gave up a game to the bullies. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that since I didn't make it to the championship myself, but if you're that confident in your game plan, you stick with it. Don't let anyone else tell you any different. That's all I gotta say on it.
I know.
With that, though, we'll move into Game 3. The Willies were able to take this one by a score of 4-3, giving them the 2-1 series advantage. So obviously going down 1-0 in the series, they bounced back with 2 straight, and now own a 2-1 series lead. This is where, if you're Jagger, you were kind of... I wish he was here to give us his insight, but Jagger, seeing the offense kind of go dormant, other for players not named Brett Kalady. Finn Ruderman, 0-4. Teddy, 1 of 3. And Jagger did have 2 of 3, but they weren't productive hits for his team. So if you anyone else needed to step up for that roster, and Brett was the only one doing so. And then you have a lineup of Homza, Robbie, and Josh Quick, who were arguably top 3 hitters in this postseason. Josh getting the win on the mound. Brett getting the loss on the mound, his only loss of the postseason, I believe. Dave, obviously going down 1-0, bouncing back with 2 straight. What's the momentum going into Game 4?
Well, I told Steve, I looked at him after we won our Game 3. I said, Steve, this is where we were before last year. And he was like, yeah, I know. And so definitely after losing the first game, which we were home, I don't like losing home games. That's not something you want to do. So we bounced back and won the next 2, which I think was fantastic. That put us in a great position. And then we'll get to Game 4 soon. But, being up 2-1 in a 5-game series is definitely something that you want in this league. Any league, really. So that was good.
Yeah, so again, going into Game 4, Jagger was able to stick with his guns. He stuck with this 4-man lineup, and it seems to prove dividend because the Bullies took this one in a 6-1 fashion into Game 4, forcing that Game 5 matchup, do or die, go home for the championship. Finn woke up 2 of 3. Brett continued to have a day 3 of 3, all 3 hits being 3 home runs for 6 RBIs. Teddy 0 of 3 and Jagger 0 of 2. So you were happy to see Finn being that supporting cast behind Brett. And then the Willies offense kind of started to die down a little bit. Only Holmes are going 1 of 4. Robbie going 0 of 3. Did have a walk on this line. And JJ 1 of 4, the one being a home run, the solo shot. Dave, I mean, you say your momentum's going high going into a 2-1 series lead, but then you lose a crucial one like this to force Game 5. What is your thought process going into this do-or-die Game 5?
At first I was like, oh no, what's happening again? The same thing that happened last year. Oh, but our offense just died that game. Only scored 1 run, was it 1 run?
Yep, on a solo shot by JJ.
That's just crazy. For a team like us to only score 1 run in a game, hats off to the Bullies. They played really good that game. But going into Game 5, I was very nervous because I was already here before last year, and nobody likes to go to a Game 5 on either side. So, but luckily, we were the home team, which gives us a small advantage, and in a little sneak peek, it definitely did help us in the end, being the home team in Game 5.
Dillan, you were obviously a fan in attendance out in center field. You see this matchup go on and on and on, and you just knew it was destined for a Game 5 appearance. What was your thought going into that? And did you have a feeling that the Willies were going to be able to pull it out, or did you have some doubt and that the Bullies were going to pull it out?
Well, let me pump the brakes real quick. I wouldn't say I was watching as a fan. I'll just put that out there. I will say that Jagger didn't seem to have himself a day, but JR, he was his bat was hot yesterday, and Jagger didn't bat him at all championship weekend. So I hate to say I told you so to JR, but kind of told you so. That's not a team you want to be a part of.
If they bat JR, they win the series 3-0.
I don't know about
I think
that.
so.
Oh, enough of that.
I think so.
Enough of that.
It's an easy swing.
No, enough.
He has he came in clutch a few times on Saturday. I'll just say that. But no, yeah, it was definitely an exciting series. There was some amazing plays in the field by both teams. The bats came alive in certain times for both teams, and it was a pretty good time to watch.
Yeah, as a fan, that's kind of more what you want to watch. Game 5, championship, do or die, go home. The animosity, the adrenaline, the energy is high from both sides because both teams love to play in these kind of matchups. With Game 5 looming, Game 5, do or die, go home, the Willies were able to clutch up 5-6 in extras on a walk-off single by Josh Quick. Winning pitcher Josh Quick as well. 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 runs let up. Did have 3 strikeouts. Teddy seemed to get hit around a little bit. He went 1 2/3, 9 hits, 5 runs let up. And then Brett as well pitched in this game appeared. He went 2 innings pitched, 1 hits, 1 run. So I'm surprised they stuck with Teddy. I know Teddy's Jagger's friend. You have all the confidence in the world in Teddy Krause because Teddy's been phenomenal pitching for them all season and also has the track record of being a very phenomenal pitcher. But when Brett's going out there, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 run, how do you not stick with him? Like, how do you not keep him in there? He's the kind of the guy that got you there with a phenomenal postseason stat line, which we'll go on in just a bit. But Jagger did make the decision to bat 3 in this lineup, and it kind of proved to be the right decision. Finn did have a bounce back game, 3 of 8, did have a homer. Brett continued to do Brett things, 3 of 6, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. And then you have Teddy, who, I'll be honest, I don't think they should have batted Teddy in Game 5. Teddy has had a cold bat the rest of the series. I think I would have rathered Jagger than Teddy in that spot, only because Jagger has the ability to work counts and get on base effectively, and Teddy's a phenomenal hitter. I don't take anything from Teddy, but I feel like Jagger would have had more of an impact than Teddy did. Teddy did go 2 of 6, did have 3 strikeouts in that Game 5 matchup. And I want to also give a special shout out to Jagger. Again, I wish he was on the podcast. He was scheduled to come on with us, but he was phenomenal in the field. Some of the plays that he made were incredible. Both teams, like Dillan said, were phenomenal in the field. There was double plays that we weren't seeing in the regular season where you were going to second base and then going to the pitcher's mound. That's a play like where you don't see very often, and you only see the top end defenses be able to complete that play. And both teams were doing it flawlessly. Diving plays, pitching phenomenal, home run. It was everything you wanted from a fan perspective out of this World Series, and I am happy as a commissioner to be able to be a part of it and watch it. So congrats again to the Willies, winning 3-2 fashion on a walk-off single by Josh Quick. It just proved that Dave made the right decisions in the preseason, and it paid dividends for them with bouncing back after they were losing in the championship last year and bringing home their first title to the Willies franchise. Anything you guys want to add, Dave, Dillan, before we hop into this 2023 Core 4 Awards?
I just want to say thank you for reminding me about games 1 through 4, because the last and only thing I remember is Steve hitting a home run, and when he had 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That's the only thing I visually remember from that series.
No, that's the point that we probably should have touched on too. Yeah, the Willies were down to their final outs, and then Steve Holmza, MVP Holmza, just does it again.
Final strike.
I think it was a 3-2 count, and was able to hit a 2-run shot to force extra innings for the Willies, which was incredible.
He did something that Steve never does. He looked at 2 strikes right down the middle, and I was like, Steve, Well, I didn't say that to him, but I was like, what in the world is going on? Because, like, Steve never takes pitches. He took 2 right down the middle. And then I think the home run that he hit was, like, a little inside. And I didn't think it was going to get out at first because it was, like, really, like, higher up on the bat by the handle. But he just squeaked out. And that was really, really cool at bat.
And you don't see Steve show a lot of emotion a ton.
Not really.
A ton. He's a calm, cool, collected guy, gets the job done. And when he hit that home run, I've never seen Steve Holmes let out a scream so loud that it just gave you chills as a fan and watching, because you knew the game was on the line, and he just delivered when the team needed him the most and put a ball over the fence, gives his team a chance to move on into extras and obviously end up winning the chip. So again, congrats to the Willies, congrats to Steve, Josh, JJ, Robbie, Louie, Dave, all played a big part in the Willies franchise this season, and I am pretty happy with how this season turned out. Anything else you guys want to add before we move on to the Core 4 awards?
Nope, let's get right to it.
Nope, I'm really nervous. Let's get into it.
All right, let's hop right in. We will start with the playoff MVP. Dave, take it away.
Shit.
I'm starting with the playoff MVP?
Yes, sir. Right in order.
All right. Okay, I see it now. All right. And the 2023 playoff MVP goes to no one else other than my boy, Steve Hamza. I am the only one clapping.
No, I don't know how to do the. I don't know how to do the function that you make people clap, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. So congrats to Steve. He definitely deserved it, and we wouldn't have won it without him. So
No,
really happy with that. Happy to got it right.
No, for sure. Steve obviously had a postseason to not forget. He went 7 games played, 27 of 39 for a .692 average in the postseason, adding 5 home runs, 17 RBIs, 3 walks, and didn't strike out across 7 games. That's just something you see from Steve Homza. So I'm very happy with him. He went 19 innings strong in the field, 18 of 18 for 1,000 fielding percentage, including 1 double play that helped his team in the championship. Did go 2-1 on the mound, 9 innings pitched, 18 runs on 19 hits for a 6.0 ERA and a 2.44 whip. So yes, his numbers were a little high, but he did get the job done when his team needed him the most. He had 3 walks and 2 strikeouts to his line. Steve did receive 5 out of the 8 captain votes to earn this award. Other nominees being Brett Kalady with 3 votes and Jagger McDonald with no votes, but still a phenomenal postseason by him. I mean, it's not a shocker, right, guys? Something you expect out of Steve Homza, so I'm pretty impressed with how he was able to help his team win Willie's their first championship in franchise history. Anything else you guys want to add before we move on to home run leader?
No, congratulations to Steve. I think he deserves it. He's been... If I knew, I say this all the time, but if I knew now what I knew last year, I would have taken Steve 4th overall over Jagger, and I probably would be sitting right where Dave is. So yeah, congratulations to Steve. Yeah.
With that, we'll move on to the home run leader.
Dave, your mic is muted, by the way.
There we go. Who did you take?
Huh?
Who did you take?
Some no name. I can't even remember.
Took a no name?
I don't like talking about him.
With that, we'll move on to the 2023 home run leader, none other than Doug Nowitzki. Doug of the Core 4 Aces mashed a league-leading 26 home runs. The next closest was Nick Pugh with 17, Jonathan Winters with 15, and Flaherty and myself both tied at 13. So Doug obviously having an insane first-year campaign into the league, being the league leader in home runs. Obviously, the last week of the season helped out when it was just me and him playing, but still, Doug continued to mash even before that week. So I'm impressed with how Doug was this year, and see how he will move on into the later next year and the year after, hopefully, with him coming back. So congrats to Doug on being the home run leader. Dave, Dylan, anything you guys want to add on this?
Well, when somebody gets 620 at bats in the season, I would hope they're the home run leader. But no, Doug is his style of play is great for this league, and he definitely. There's no surprise that he hit 26 home runs, even though he had a lot of at bats. Still, like his home runs per game rate is probably still very good. So, congrats to Doug.
Yes, you may say he's had a lot of at bats, but he had the same amount of at bats as Steve Holmes last year when he won the MVP. So I mean, if you're gonna take away his award based off of that, then you can say the same thing about Steve last year. So
no, Steve VP.
Yep, that's what I thought. Moving on. Most improved, Dillan, take it away.
All right. The most improved player in the 2023 Core 4 campaign is... Dave, do you have a drum roll or no? Is there a thing?
Yes, hold on. I'm sorry. I was muted.
Okay, drum roll.
That's not really a drum roll. I'm sorry.
Well, it works either way. Jonathan Winters, he is the most improved player in the 2023 campaign.
Jonathan had a phenomenal season 2, hitting .615 average, 48 hits, smashing 15 home runs for 37 RBIs. He definitely was one of the bright spots on the Gargoyles roster with his ability to hit a home run in every at bat. He's just one of those guys where, as a pitcher, you're getting up there facing him, and it's just not. You just got to find ways to get that guy out because it's kind of insane with his ability to produce the long ball. And he hits the ball very hard. So, like, it's not like these dinky hits where, like, you're getting singles here and there. He hits the ball very hard, and I was pretty impressed with how Jonathan came out this season. Winters did receive 5 out of the 8 captain votes, almost majority, with the other nominee, Gerald Johnson, receiving 3 votes as well. So, congrats to Jonathan Winters and Gerald Johnson for being nominated. Again, congrats again. Dave, anything you want to add on Jonathan? You're muted, buddy. Just stop muting yourself.
Muted.
I'm sorry. I keep forgetting I'm mute because I'm coughing. Okay, there we go. No, he's very scary when he's up to bat. Last year he raked, so it's no surprise this year he raked again. I don't know I can't remember what his numbers were last year compared to this year, but I know I voted for him, so another award that's definitely deserved for Jonathan.
With that, we'll move on to the Gold Glovers. Obviously, Jagger was slated to announce this award. Jagger did not join us this evening. So, Dave, take it away.
Oh, sure. Why not? So the 3 Gold Glovers this year are Julian Speranza, followed by Jonathan Fernandes, the commissioner, who's also right here, and Brett Rooney, who did not hunt that much this year. So congratulations to you 3. Good job.
Thank you. Speranza played 51 innings, almost the most as in the league. 46 of 46, being the only player to go over 1,000 fielding. To be at 1,000 fielding percentage with that many chances, and also including 1 double play on the season.
I'm sorry. I'm on a thing right now. Go on, I'll go upstairs. Go away. I just had Chick-fil-A. You should have that.
The one time he doesn't mute.
Oh, I didn't mute myself. I'm sorry.
Then we move over to my stat line. I played 58 innings, played 45 of 47 for a .958 fielding percentage with 2 double plays. And then rounding out the final Gold Glove winner, Brett Rooney, 40 innings played amongst 2 teams, 33 of 34 for a .970 fielding percentage and 2 double plays. So all players known for good fielding, so I was very happy with obviously winning this award. So I pride myself in trying to be a good fielder. Obviously, it didn't show in the postseason. I had a couple errors, but in the regular season, I was able to keep up. And then Julian, I think he's the only player in league history that have 1,000 fielding percentage across 2 seasons. I'll have to stat check myself on that last year. And Rooney, always known for being a well-rounded fielder. So congrats to all 3 of us on this well-deserved award.
I apologize for getting yelled at by my sister and her friend.
It's okay. No, you're good. You're good. With that, we'll move on to the Rookie of the Year. Dillan, take it away.
All right, Dave, can I get another drum roll, please?
Absolutely. Oops.
And that's Doug. Rookie of the year is Doug Nowitzki.
Yeah, and another one, no shocker here. Doug came in and just, like Dave said, this league is kind of catered to him. Doug went 688 average, 75 hits on only 109 ABs, 13 doubles, 3 triples, 26 home runs, and 65 RBIs, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts with a 702 on base percentage. Doug did pitch this year, 1-3, 12 innings pitched, 32 runs allowed on 32 hits, 16 walks and 7 Ks with an 8.00 ERA. He also included a 909 fielding percentage, and if you guys all know Doug is one of the better fielders in the league. Some of the plays he makes are just incredible. So shout out to Doug. Doug was drafted in the second round and proved to live up to the hype. Received 5 out of the 8 MVP or Rookie of the Year votes. Connor Straka received 2. Kenny Kandrak received 1, and Dan Flaherty also being a nominee. So congrats to Doug and the other nominees for Rookie of the Year. With that, we will move on to the Cy Young Award. Dave, take it away.
This is why I took Josh. This is why I took him, because I know from previous...
Way to spoil it, but go ahead.
Shit. All right. It's Josh, by the way. It's Josh. He's the Cy Young. I know. I surprised. Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
This is why I took him, because, from previous non-stat keeping core 4 years, that he was always one of the better pitchers, so... I took him like 6th overall, I think it was, for his pitching, and he did just that. Smalls, you have the stats, obviously, so if you want to read those. Yep,
Josh went 7-1 in 23 innings pitched, 21 runs allowed on 40 hits, 9 walks, 19 Ks, had a 2.74 ERA with a 1.91 WHIP. The Willies had one mission coming into the season, and it was to bolster their rotation. They did just that, investing their first-round pick on Josh, who went on a tear this season on the mound to be proved exactly what the Willies needed to secure the 1 seed heading into the playoffs. Josh received 6 out of the 8 captain votes, with the other nominees, myself, Gerald Johnson receiving a vote, and also Joey Dewar. So congrats to all 3 other nominees, and again, congrats to Josh. Josh was one of the better pitchers that we've seen in Core 4 in a long time. So as Dave alluded to, he has played in Core 4 before, and he's been one of the better pitchers even back then. So well-deserved, well-rounded. Congrats, Josh Quick. Anything else we want to add before we move on to Captain of the Year?
No, I'm excited. Let's get to it.
All right. With Captain of the Year, we have none other than Dillan Ryman of Off Constantly. Dillan went into the regular season not knowing he was going to be a captain of the formerly known team as Stop the Chop. When Mike Flynn stepped away from being a captain, Dillan stepped up to take the reins and rebranded the team back to Off Constantly. Dillan built a winning roster by cleaning house and orchestrating trades to build a well-rounded roster by letting Rooney walk away, also by picking up the likes of Mike Castellano. Dillan led his team to its first ever playoff appearance in 2023. Dillan did receive 5 out of the 8 votes, other nominees being Dave Rigido receiving 2, Andrew Duffy receiving 1, and myself being a nominee as well, not receiving any votes. Dillan is frozen with excitement.
I'm frozen with confusion.
Yes, obviously Dave did go on to win the league. Dave obviously deserved the award as well, but Dillan not being a captain.
No, he does not.
Dylan expressed interest in not being a captain this year and kind of just thrown into it. He was thrown into a shit fire. He was thrown into Rooney not showing up. He was thrown into only him and Kenny. JJ didn't want to show up for him. Billy Corcoran was drafted to that team, didn't show up. So he had no one on his roster that was going to be able to play. He had to pull his dad out of retirement, made the trades to orchestrate getting Mike Castellano and putting Kenny in the right position to be a Cy Young candidate and a Rookie of the Year candidate. So congrats to Dillan. Honestly, if it was a co-captain of the year between Dave and Dillan, I would vote it. But Dillan, on those grounds, took the award. So congrats, Dillan, for that.
Dylan is furious right now. My team is furious in the chat.
I'm sorry.
I don't care. They could be pet peeve for all I care. I am thrilled.
And I'm happy for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
With that, go ahead, Dylan. Take the floor. Go ahead.
No, it's an honor to go from not wanting to be a captain at all to being captain of the year. That's crazy to me. I thank my team for how well they played this year. I'm glad to have been able to put everyone in the correct positions to succeed in this league. So hopefully I can run it back next year. That's not going to happen next year, but I'd like to think I could.
Well deserved, obviously. With that, we'll move on to the 2023 Most Valuable Player of the Season, and none other than the back-to-back MVP, Steve Homza. Steve went a .726 average, 53 hits, 73 ABs, 4 doubles, 1 triple, 12 home runs. Drove in 29 RBIs, 5 walks, 1 strikeout on the season, and a .734 on-base percentage. Steve took a back seat to being the superstar of the team. Granted, he still was the superstar of the team, but he didn't do it in the fashion that we expect out of Steve Homza with the home runs. He set his team up for success by getting on for them and making them the superstars of the team, and even by him doing that, it showed in his numbers that he was able to produce still at the same level. Steve went 2-3 on the mound, 14 and a third innings pitched, 15 runs on 25 hits, 1 walk, 5 Ks for a 3.14 ERA. Steve played 52 innings in the field, did go 36 of 38 for a .947 fielding percentage. This is Steve's second MVP in as many years, receiving 4 out of the 8 votes. Other nominees being myself, Jonathan Fernandes, receiving 3 votes, Joey Dewar receiving 1, and also Doug Nowitzki being a nominee as well. So again, the only award winner to go back-to-back between 22 and 23, Steve Homza being the MVP. Dave, take it away. I'm sure you're ecstatic with this. Obviously, get the chip, get the awards. What is the Willies? How are the Willies feeling right now?
I thought Dillan was going to be the MVP.
I thought so too.
I was so surprised when it wasn't you,
And I thought Steve would have gotten captain of the year. It blows my mind.
Yeah, we're pretty happy with the awards in the chat right now. Not so happy with some others, but it's okay. We won the championship.
The Willies can't win everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could.
You can't.
That's all. You've gassed Steve all season, and that's all. The only line you're gonna say for him winning the MVP award. This.
I love you, Steve. You're so good. If you're listening, I love you.
Oh, okay, you lost me. Dylan, anything you want to add on Steve winning the MVP for the second straight season?
I mean, as I've said before, if I knew what I knew, if I knew last year what I know this year, I would have taken Steve 4th overall last year. So congratulations to Steve. He proves time and time again that he's a force to be reckoned with, and one of the reasons why he deserves this award.
For sure, 100%. And with that will wrap up our 2023 award ceremony. Dylan, Dave, thank you for taking the time and joining us. And of course, I want to mention this. Thank you guys as the players and the captains and the fans. We want to thank you guys for your support in Season 2. I'm super excited to see what we will go with coming forward into Season 3 in 2024. Without you guys, this wouldn't be a success. So I appreciate everyone, the love and support that you guys given us over the last 2 years. And again, like I said, this seemed to be one of my more proudest achievements, is running this league and seeing the success and the fun that everyone has and the high praise that I receive from everyone that participates. So again, without you guys, this league would not be what it is today. So I appreciate you guys, captains, fans, like I said, players, everyone that just tunes in and week out and gives us the best product that we can. So again, appreciate you guys, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, good holiday, and we will see you back in 2024 for more Core 4 action in Season 3. Dave, Dylan, anything you guys want to add before we sign off on the 2023?
Smalls for running the league.
Thank you.
Good job, Commish.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job, Smalls, on a well-run league. And thank you for allowing us to do what we can do to help make this league the way it is today. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you guys. Thank you for the kind words. And with that, we will see you guys in 2024 for the 3rd season of Core 4. Everyone, keep your eyes out on the pages. We will continue to provide content over the offseason, and we will also be looking into the next season of BWBL as well. As far as this weekly Walkoff podcast, I want to continue to do it into the BWBL season. So hopefully come next year, we will continue that. We'll see how it translates over to that kind of format with the league. But with that, again, last time, I'll say it a million times, thank you everyone for your support, and I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday, and we will see you back next year. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Happy
Thank
Thanksgiving.
you. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, guys.